funny game, Uncle. What did you do then?
A red pawn took a white pawn this way. You see, Alice, the chessboard is divided into 64 squares, red and white. And the white army tries to win, and the red army tries to win. It's like a battle.
With soldiers?
Yes. Here are the kings and queens they are fighting for. That's the white queen, and here's the red queen.
How funny they look.
See the crowns on their heads? And look at their big feet.
It's a foot apiece. That's what it is. Do they hump along like this?
Here, you're spoiling the game. I must keep them all in my right squares.
I want to be a queen.
Here you are, in your little stiff skirt.
How do you do, Alice?
And now you are going to move here.
Oh, let me move myself.
When you have traveled all along the board this way and haven't been taken by the enemy, then you may be a queen.
Why do people always play with kings and queens? Mother has them with her playing cards too. Look. Here's the king of hearts, and here's his wife, the queen of hearts. She's cross-looking, isn't she? Wants to bite one's head off. You're playing against yourself, aren't you?
That's one way of keeping in practice, Alice. I have friends in the university that want to beat me.
But if you play against yourself, I should think you want to cheat.
Alice, does a nice little girl like you cheat when she plays against herself?
Oh, I never do. I scold myself hard. Sometimes I pretend I'm two people too. It's very fun, isn't it? Sometimes, when I'm all alone, I go to the looking glass and talk to the other Alice. She's so silly, that Alice. She never can do anything by herself. When I laugh, she laughs, and when I point my finger at her, she points her finger at me, and when I stick my tongue out at her, she sticks her tongue out at me. Kitty has a twin too, haven't you, darling?
I'll have to write a book someday about Alice. Alice in Wonderland. Child of the unclouded brow and dreaming eyes of wonder. Or Alice through the looking glass.
Don't you wish sometimes you could go into the looking glass house? See, there's the room. It's something like our living room, only things go the other way. You can see all of it, all but the bit just behind the fireplace. Oh, I do wish I could see that bit. I never can tell if they've a fire there, unless the fire smokes, but that could just be to pretend they had a fire. Their books are something like our books too, only the words go the wrong way. Won't there ever be any way of our getting through, Uncle?
Do you think little Kitty will find looking glass milk digestible?
Doesn't sound awful good, does it? But I might leave her at home today. She's been into an awful lot of mischief. She found Sister's knitting and chased the ball all over the garden where Sister was playing croquet with the neighbors. And I ran and ran after the naughty little thing until I was so tired. I am tired.
Take a nap. Yes, we have time before tea.
We're having mock turtle soup for supper. I heard Mama tell the cook not to pepper it too much.
What a funny little rabbit it is, nibbling all the time.
There she is. Let's call her over.
Do you think she'll come?
I'll call softly. Alice. Alice. Alice.
Hello, Alice.
Alice.
Hush! If she waits and catches us, Alice, go through into the looking glass house.
I've tried before, but the glass was hard and I was afraid of cutting my fingers. Why, it's soft like gauze. It's turning into a sort of mist. Why, it's easy to get through. Why I'm going through. You're the Red Queen.
Of course I am. Where do you come from? And where are you going? Look up, speak nicely, and don't twiddle your fingers.
I really wanted to see what the looking glass was like. Perhaps I'd lost my way.
I don't know what you mean by your way, but all the ways about here belong to me. Curtsy while you're thinking what to say. It saves time.
I'll try it next time. I'm a little late for dinner.
It's time for you to answer now. Open your mouth a little wider when you speak, and always say, Your Majesty. I suppose you don't want to lose your name.
No, indeed.
And yet, I don't know. Only think how convenient it would be if you could manage to go home without it. For instance, if the governess wanted to call you to your lessons, she would call out, Come here. And there she would have to leave off, because there wouldn't be any other name for her to call. And you wouldn't have to go, you know.
That would never do, I'm sure. The governess would never excuse me from lessons for that. If she had forgotten my name, she would call me Miss, as the servants do.
Well, if she said Miss and didn't say anything more, of course she'd miss your lessons. I dare say you can't even read this book.
It's all in some language I don't understand. Why, it's a looking glass book, of course, and if I hold it up to the glass, the words will go all the right way again. Jabberwocky, 'twas brillig in the slitty toes, with gyre and gimble in the wab, all mimsy with a borrowed words and moan rats how grab. It seems very pretty, but I'm not exactly sure what it means. It fills my head with ideas, but I don't know what they are.
I dare say you don't know your geography either. Look at the map.
It's marked out like a big chessboard. I would like to be a pawn, though. Of course, I should like to be a Red Queen best.
That's easily managed. At the 8th square, you'll be a queen. It's a huge game of chess being played all over the world. Come on, we've got to run.
Oh, I can't.
Faster, faster.
Are we nearly there?
Nearly there. Why we passed it 10 minutes ago? Faster. Okay, you may rest a little now.
Why, do you believe we're in the same place?
Of course we are. What would you have it?
Well, in our country, you generally get somewhere if you read fast for a very long time, as we've been doing.
A slow sort of country. Now here you see, you must do all the running you can do to stay in the same place. If you like to get to somewhere else, you must run twice as fast as that.
I'm quite content to stay here, though I am so hot and thirsty.
I know what you'd like. Have a biscuit. While you're refreshing yourself, I'll take the measurements. At the end of 2 yards, I shall give you your directions. Have another biscuit.
No, thank you. One's quite enough.
Thirst quenched, I hope? At the end of 3 yards, I shall repeat them, for fear of you forgetting them. At the end of 4 yards, I shall say goodbye, and at the end of 5, I shall go. That square belongs to Humpty Dumpty, and that square to the Griffin and Mock Turtle, and that square to the Queen of Hearts. But you make no remark.
I didn't know I had to make one just then.
Well, you should have said, it's extremely kind of you to tell me all this, but suppose it said, 4, goodbye, 5.
Oh, the Duchess! The Duchess! Oh, won't she be sad if I kept her waiting?
I've never seen a rabbit with a waistcoat and watch, and a waistcoat pocket, if you please, sir. Very glad I happened to be in the way.
Bread and butter! Bread and butter!
Am I addressing the White Queen?
Well, yes, if you call that addressing. It's not my notion of the thing.
Your Majesty will only tell me the right way to begin. I'll do it as well as I can.
But I don't want it doing at all! I've been addressing myself for the last 2 hours!
Everything's crooked. And you're all over the pins.
I don't know what's the matter with it. It's all out of temper. I've pinned it here, I've pinned it there, but there's just no pleasing it.
It can't go straight, you know, if you pin it all on one side. And dear me, what a state your hair is in.
The comb has got entangled in it, and I lost the brush yesterday.
That's better, but really, you should have a lady's maid.
I'm sure I'll take you with pleasure. 2 pence a week and jam every other day.
I don't want you to hire me, and I don't care for jam.
It's very good jam.
Well, I don't want any today at any rate.
You couldn't have it if you did want it. The rule is jam tomorrow, jam yesterday, but never jam today.
It must come sometimes to jam today.
No, it can't. It's every other day, and today isn't any other day, you know?
I don't understand. It's dreadfully confusing.
That's the effect of living backwards. It always makes one a little giddy at first.
Living backwards? Never heard of such a thing.
There is one great advantage in it, though, that one's memory works both ways.
What sort of things do you remember best?
The things that happened the week after next. For instance now, the king's messenger is in prison and being punished. And the crime and the trial doesn't even begin until Wednesday. Let alone the crime, which of course comes last of all.
Suppose he never commits the crime?
That would be all the better then, wouldn't it?
Yes, but it wouldn't be all the better his being punished.
You're wrong there at any rate. Were you ever punished?
Only for faults.
And you're all the better for it, I know.
Yes, but that's because I had done the things I was punished for. That makes all the difference.
And if you hadn't done them, that would have been all the better still. And better and better and better.
There's a mistake somewhere.
Ow! Oh, my finger! Oh, it's bleeding!
What is the matter? Have you pricked your finger?
I haven't pricked it yet, but I soon shall.
You expect to do it?
When I fasten my shawl again, the brooch will come undone directly if...
Oh, take care. Everything's crooked.
That accounts for the bleeding. See? Now you know the way things work here.
But why don't you scream now?
Why, I've done all the screaming already. What would be the good in having it done all over again? Touch right if you want to stay in the same place. Come on.
No, not so fast. I'm getting dizzy.
Faster, faster!
Everything's black before my eyes.
Faster, faster!
I can't. Please.
If you can't stay in the same place, I'll have to drop you behind. Faster, faster! Goodbye!
dear! Where am I? Oh, dear! I've never been smaller than any table before. I've always been able to reach the knobs. Oh! I'm shrinking! Oh! What a curious feeling! Oh! It's the fan! No! The gloves! Oh! Saved in time! I never...
Oh dear! My fan! My gloves!
Oh,
Where am I?
Mr. Rabbit, please! Help me get out! I want to get out!
Oh, the Duchess! Let me ask her to have sure spirits of parents. Oh, you have them!
I'm sorry, you dropped them, you know.
She'll chop off your head!
Please, sir, I want to go home. I want to go home.
Oh, my ears and whiskers! How late it's getting!
Rabbit hole. Small enough to fit a shoe. If I shrink anymore, it might just be my all going out altogether. It's like a candle. I wonder what I would be like then. What does a candle look like after it's been blown out? Never seen such a thing.
Don't stand chattering to yourself like that, but tell me your name and your business.
My name is Alice, but
It's a stupid name enough. What does it mean?
must the name mean something?
Of course it must. Mine means the shape I am. And a good, beautiful shape it is, too.
You're Humpty Dumpty, just like an egg.
It is very provoking to be called an egg.
I only said you looked like an egg, sir. And some eggs are very pretty, you know.
And some people have no more sense than a baby.
Why do you sit here all alone?
Why? Because there's nobody with me. Did you think I didn't know the answer to that? Ask another.
Don't you think you'd be safer on the ground? That wall's so very narrow.
What tremendously easy riddles you ask. Of course I don't think so. Anyway, how old did you say you were?
7 years and 6 months.
Wrong. You never said a word about it. Now, if you'd have asked me, I'd have said leave off at 7, but
I never asked advice about growing.
too proud.
What a beautiful belt. No, rabbit. I should have said, I beg your pardon. Only I knew which was waist and which was neck.
It is very provoking when someone doesn't know a cravat from a belt.
I know, it's very ignorant of me.
It's a cravat, child, and a beautiful one, as you say. There's glory for you.
I don't know what you mean by glory.
A word means just what I choose it to mean, neither more nor less.
The question is whether you can make words mean different things.
The question is, which is to be master. That's all. Impenetrability, that's what I say.
Would you tell me, please, what that means?
By that, I mean this conversation has gone on a little too fast, too long, and I suppose you don't mean to stand here all the rest of your life.
That's a great deal to make one word mean.
When I make a word do a lot of work, I always pay extra.
Oh, pay extra?
You should see them come around me on the Saturday nights before out to get their wages, you know. Anyway, that's all. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Till we meet again.
We shouldn't meet again. If we did, you are so just like other people.
The face is what one goes by generally.
That's just what I complain of. The 2 eyes on top, nose in the middle, mouth under, just like everyone else. Now if you had 2 eyes on the sides and maybe the mouth on top, that might be of some help.
It wouldn't look nice.
Wait till you tried. Goodbye.
Oh, I forgot to ask how to get out. Please, anybody, somebody, please, help me get out. Rat, rat!
that. Mock Turtle ain't got no sorrow. This here girl wanna know you for your history. She do.
I'll tell it to her. Sit down, both of you, and don't speak a word until I finish.
I don't see how you can ever finish if you don't begin.
Once, I was a real turtle. When we were little, we went to school in the sea. Our master was an old turtle. We used to call him Tortoise.
Why did you call him Tortoise if he wasn't one?
We called him Tortoise because he taught us. You really are very good.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself for asking such a simple question. Drive on, old fellow. Don't go on all day about it.
Yes, we went to school in the sea. Though you mayn't believe it.
I never said I didn't.
You did!
Hold your tongue!
We had the best of educations. In fact, we went to school every day.
You needn't be so proud as all that. I went to a day school too.
With extras
Yes, we learned French and music
and washing.
certainly not.
Then your school wasn't a very good one. Now at our school, we had at the end of the bill, French, music, washing, extra.
Couldn't have wanted it much living at the bottom of the sea.
I couldn't afford to learn it. I only took the regular course.
What was that?
Reeling and writing, of course, to begin with. Then the different branches of arithmetic. Ambition, distraction, uglification, and derision.
Never heard of uglification. What is it?
You've never heard of uglifying? You know what beautifying is, I suppose.
Yes, it means to make anything prettier.
Well then, if you don't know what to uglify is, you're a simpleton.
What else had you to learn?
Mystery, ancient, and modern geography. Then drawing. The drawing master was an old conger eel. He used to come once a week. What he taught us was drawing, stretching, and fading in foils. What was that like? I can't show it to you myself. I'm too stiff. And the griffin never learned it.
At the time, I went to the classical master club. He was an old crab. He was.
He taught laugh and grief, all they used to say.
So they did, so they did.
And how many hours a day did you
10 the first day, 9 the next, and so on.
So, the 11th must have been a holiday.
Of course it was.
How did you manage on the 12th?
That's enough about lessons. Tell us something about the games, why don't you? Same as if he had a bone in his throat.
You may not have lived much under the sea.
I haven't.
And perhaps you were never even introduced to a lobster before.
I once tasted. No, never.
Then you must have no idea what a lobster quadrille is.
No, what sort of dance is it?
Why, you form into a line along the seashore.
2 lines, seals, turtles, salmon, and so on. Then when you've cleared all the jellyfish out of the way,
That genuinely takes some time.
you advance twice.
Each with the lobsters a partner.
Of course, advance twice, set to partners.
Change lobsters and retire in the same order.
And then, you throw the
Lobsters!
out to sea as far as you can!
Come after them!
Turn the surface out of the sea!
Change lobsters again!
Back to land again, and that's all there's to
Must be a very pretty dance.
Would you like to see a little of it?
Very much indeed.
Come, let's try the first figure. Who shall sing?
Oh, you sing. I forgot the words.
Will you walk a little faster, said the whiting to the snail. There's a porpoise close behind us, and he's treading on my tail. See how eagerly the lobsters and the turtles all advance. They are waiting on the shingle. Will you come enjoy the dance? Will you, won't you, will you, won't you, will you join the dance? Will you, won't you, will you, won't you, will you join the dance? You can really have no notion how delightful it will be when you throw the turtles and the lobsters all out to sea. But the snail replied, look askance. He said he'd think the whiting kindly, but he would not join the dance. Would not,
Could not,
would not,
could not.
would not join the dance. Would
Could not,
would not, could not, would not join the dance.
Thank you. Very interesting. I do so like the curious song about the whiting.
Oh, as to the whiting, they, you've seen them, of course.
Yes, I've often seen them at Din.
Well, I don't know where Din may be, but if you've seen them, of course you know what they look like.
Yes, they have their tails in their mouths and they're all over the crumbs.
You're wrong about the crumbs. The crumbs have all washed out in the sea, but they do have their tails in their mouths. And the reason for that is...
The reason is that they would take the lobsters to the dance, so they got thrown out into the sea. So they had to fall a long way. So they got their tails stuck in their mouths. So they couldn't get them out again. That's all.
Thank you. It's very interesting. Never knew so much about the whiting before.
I can tell you more if you like. Do you know why it's called the whiting?
No. Why?
It does the boots and shoes.
Does the boots and shoes?
Why, of course. I mean, what are your shoes done with? What makes them so shiny?
They're done with blacking, I believe.
Boots and shoes under the sea are done with whiting. Now you know.
And what are they made of?
Soles and eels, of course. Any shrimp could have told you that.
If I had been the whiting, I would have said to the porpoise, keep back, please. We don't want you with us.
They were obliged to have him with them. Nobody's supposed to go anywhere without a porpoise.
Wouldn't it really?
Of course not. Why, if a fish came to me and told me he was going on a journey, I should say, with what purpose?
Don't you mean purpose?
I mean what I say.
Shall we try another figure of the lobster quadrant? Or see if you want the mock turtle to sing you a song.
Oh, another song if the mock turtle would be so kind.
Sing your turtle soup. Why don't you?
Beautiful soup, so rich and green, waiting on the hot tureen, for which Danes could not stoop. Soup of the evening, beautiful soup, soup of the evening, beautiful soup, beautiful soup, beautiful soup, soup of the evening, beautiful soup. They won't let her stay in her square.
The queen's coming this way!
You chop their heads off! Let's fly!
You'll be safe in the March Hare's garden!
No room!
No room! No room! None at all!
There's plenty of room. I don't know who you are.
I'm the March Hare. That's the Hatter, and that's Jermo. Have some wine?
I don't see any wine.
Well, there isn't any.
It wasn't very civil of you to offer it.
It wasn't very civil of you to sit down without being invited.
I didn't know it was a floor table. It's laid out for a great many more than 3.
Your hair wants cutting.
You should learn not to make personal remarks. It's very rude.
Spies arrayed like a writing desk.
Come, we shall have some fun now. Glad you began asking riddles. I believe I can guess that.
So you mean you think that you know the answer to it?
Exactly so.
Then you should say what you mean.
I do. At least I mean what I say. That's the same thing, you know.
Not the same thing a bit. I mean, you might as well say I eat what I see. That's the same as I see what I eat.
You might as well just say, I like what I get. It's the same thing as I get what I like.
You might just as well say I breathe when I sleep is the same thing as I sleep when I breathe.
It is the same thing with you. What day of the month is it?
The 4th.
It's 2 days wrong. I told you butter wouldn't suit the works.
It was the best butter, you know.
Yes, but you put it in with the butter knife, and some breadcrumbs must have gotten in as well.
It was the best butter.
What a funny watch. It tells you what day of the month it is, but doesn't tell you what o'clock it is.
Why should it? Does your watch tell you what year it is?
No, but that's because it stays the same year for such a long time altogether.
Which is just the same case with mine.
I don't understand you.
again.
Of course, just what I was gonna remark myself.
Have you guessed the riddle yet?
No, I give it up. What's the answer?
I haven't the slightest idea.
Nor I.
I think you should do something better with the time than wasting it and asking riddles that have no answers.
Well, if you knew time as well as I do, you wouldn't be referring to it as him. It's him.
I don't know what you mean.
Of course you don't. I dare say you never even spoken to time.
No, but I have to beat time when I learn music.
That accounts for it. He won't stand beating. Now, if you only stayed on good terms with him, he'd do almost anything you'd like with the clock. For example, let's say it's 9 a.m., just time to begin lessons. You would just whisper a hint to time, and around goes the clock in a twinkling. 1:30, time for supper.
I only wish it was.
That would be grand, certainly, but I shouldn't be hungry for it, you know.
Perhaps not at first, but you could keep it to 1:30 as long as you like.
Is that the way you manage?
Not I. We quarreled last month. Just before he went mad, you know. I was at the great concert given by the Queen of Bats where I had to sing, "Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder where you're at." You know the song, perhaps.
I've heard something like it.
Twinkle, twinkle, twinkle. Well, so I hardly finished the first verse when the Queen called out, "He's murdering the time! Off with his head!"
Directly savage!
And ever since then, he won't do a thing I ask. It's always 6 o'clock now.
Is that the reason why so many tea things are put out here?
Exactly so. It's always tea time.
So you keep moving around, I suppose.
Yes, so the things get used up between whiles.
But when you come back to the beginning again,
Suppose we change the subject. I vote that the young lady tells us a story.
I'm afraid I don't know one.
Then the dormouse shall.
Wake up, Dormouse!
I wasn't asleep. I heard every word you fellows were saying.
Tell us a story.
Yes, please do.
And be quick about it, or you'll be asleep before it's finished.
Once upon a time, there were 3 little sisters. Their names were Elsie, Lacey, and Tilly, and they lived at the bottom of a well.
Why do they live at the bottom of a well?
It was a treacle well.
They couldn't have done that. They had been very ill.
So they were very ill.
And why do they live at the bottom of a well?
Take some more tea.
I can't have any more. I've had nothing yet.
Look, it's very easy to take nothing more than nothing.
Why do they live at the bottom of a well?
The treacle well. And they were learning to draw, you know?
What did they draw?
Treacle. I want a clean copy.
Let's move one place on.
Worse off than I was before. You've upset the milk jug into your plate.
It wasn't very civil of you to sit down without being invited.
What did they draw?
They drew all manners of things. Everything that begins with an M.
Why with an M?
Why not?
That which begins with an M, such as mousetraps, and the moon, and memories, and muchness. You know, you say things are much as muchness. Have you ever seen such a thing as a drawing of muchness?
Did you?
Really, now you asked me.
Good talk.
No! Please stay.
You were very rude. It is the stupidest tea party I ever was in all my life.
No room! No
No
room!
room!
No
No room! No room!
For the Duchess, an invitation from the Queen to play croquet.
From the Queen, an invitation for the Duchess to play croquet.
No room! No room!
No room!
She's at it again.
It's perfectly disgusting.
Let's move on.
There's no sort of use in you knocking, and that for 2 reasons. First, because I'm on the same side of the door as you are. Secondly, because I'm making such a noise inside, no one could possibly hear you.
Please, then how am I to get in?
There might be some sense in you knocking if we had the door between us. For instance, if you were inside, you could knock, and I could let you out, you know?
But how am I to get in?
I shall sit here till tomorrow. Or the next day, maybe.
How am I to get in?
Are you to get in at all? That's the first question, you know.
Who's the servant whose business is to answer this door?
Which door?
This door, of course.
To answer the door? What's it been asking for?
I don't know what you mean.
I speaks English, doesn't I? Or are you deaf? What did it ask you?
Nothing. I've been knocking at it.
Shouldn't do that, shouldn't do that. It vexes it, you know? You leave it alone, and it'll leave you alone, you know?
No use in talking to you.
If everybody minded her own business.
It's pepper. Of course. My cook puts in the soup. There's certainly too much pepper in this soup.
Sneeze and get rid of it. I speak roughly to your boy. I beat him when he sneezes. He only does it to annoy because he knows it teases. I speak severely to my boy. I beat him when he sneezes. For he can thoroughly enjoy the pepper when he pleases.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, what a stop. Oh, please, I know what you're doing. Oh,
Everybody minded her own business. The world would go around a deal faster than it does.
which would not be to an advantage. Just think what work that would do with the day and night. You see, the Earth takes 24 hours to turn on its axis, and...
Talking of axes, jump overhead.
Oh, what's that?
Cat, of course.
Why does it grin like that?
It's a Cheshire Cat, and that's why. Pig!
I didn't know Cheshire Cats could grin, and I didn't know cats could grin at all.
They all can, and most of them do.
Well, I don't know if any that do.
You don't know much, and that's a fact. Here, you may nurse it a bit if you'd like. I must go and get ready to play croquet with the queen.
I don't take this child away with me. You're sure to kill him in a day or two. Cheshire Puss, could you tell me, please, which way I ought to walk from here?
That depends a good deal on where you want to get to.
I don't much care where.
Then it doesn't matter which way you walk.
As long as I get somewhere.
Oh, you're sure to do that. If only you walk long enough.
Would you tell me, please, what sort of people walk about here?
All mad people.
I don't want to go among mad people.
Oh, you can't help that. We're all mad here. I'm mad, he's mad. He's dreaming now. And what do you think he's dreaming about?
Nobody could guess that.
Why? About you. And if he left off dreaming about you, where do you suppose you'd be?
Where I am now, of course.
Not you. You'd be nowhere. Why, you're only a sort of thing in his dream. And you're mad too.
How do you know I'm mad?
You must be, or you wouldn't have come here.
How do you know you're mad?
To begin with, a dog's not mad. You grant that?
I suppose.
Well then, you see, a dog growls when it's angry and wags its tail when it's pleased. Now, I growl when I'm pleased and wag my tail when I'm angry. Therefore, I'm mad.
Call it purring, not growling.
Call it what you like.
Do you play croquet with the queen today? I should like it very much, though I haven't been invited yet.
You'll see me there.
Oh! It turned into a pig! Oh, don't grunt! Oh, please, Mr. Footman, take it!
Bye. What became of the baby?
It turned into a pig!
I thought it would. Did you say pig or fig?
I said pig, and I wish she wouldn't keep appearing and vanishing so suddenly. It would make one quite giddy.
All right.
Please, Mr. Footman, take it! Beetle D!
Dumb!
If you think we're waxworks, you ought to pay.
Contrary-wise, if you think we're alive, you ought to speak.
The first thing you do at a visit is shake hands and say, how do you do?
Here we go round the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush.
Oh, would you tell me, please, which road
What shall I repeat to her?
The walrus and the carpenter, it's the longest.
The sun was shining.
It's very long. Would you first tell
The
me?
moon was shining sulkily.
The sea was wet as wet could be.
Oh, oysters come and walk with us. The walrus did beseech.
A pleasant walk, a pleasant talk, along the briny beach.
The walrus and the carpenter walked on a mile or so.
Meaning to say, he did not choose to leave the oyster bed.
But boy oysters hurried up in yet another 4.
And thick and fast they came at last, and more and more and more.
I forgot what to say. How it goes. Would you remind me?
Then they rested on the rock, conveniently low.
And now the little oysters stood and waited in a row.
A loaf of bread, the walrus said, is what we chiefly need.
Now if you're ready, oyster dears, we can begin to feed.
But the carpenter said nothing, but cut us another slice. I wish you were not quite so deaf. I've had to ask you twice.
It seemed a shame, the walrus said, to play them such a trick. After he brought them out so far and made them trot so quick.
Oh, oysters, said the walrus. We've had a pleasant run.
Should we be trotting home again?
But answer came there none.
And this was scarcely odd because...
They'd eaten every...
Do you see that?
It's only a rattle.
I knew it was. It's spoiled, of course. My nice new rattle. Do you care to have a battle?
I suppose so. Let's fight till dinner.
Huzzah!
I wonder what's gonna happen next.
Who is this? Idiot! What's your name, child?
My name is Alice. So pleased to meet your majesty.
Off with her head. Off!
Nonsense!
Consider, my dear, she's only a child.
Can you play croquet?
Yes?
Come on then, get to your places. Where are the mallets?
Here.
Off with his head!
Oh, what fun! What is the fun? Why, she. It's all her fancy that. They never execute anyone. What does one do?
Get to your places!
You're the chess queens.
Under sentence of execution.
What for?
Did you say what a pity?
No, I didn't. I don't think it's a pity at all. I said what for.
They boxed the queen's ears. Oh, hush, the queen will hear you. They came in late one day, and I heard the queen say, oh dear, the queen hears me?
How can you go so quietly with your head downwards? What does it matter where my body happens to be? My mind goes on working just the same, doesn't it? The fact is, the more head downwards I am, the more I keep on inventing new things.
Excuse me, dear, have you seen any of my messengers along the road?
Yes, I did. Several thousand, I should think.
4,207. That's the exact number. And they couldn't send all the horses because some of them are in the game. I couldn't send my messengers either.
What's the war about?
Well, the Red Cheshire King has a whole army against us, but little does he know, he can't kill a man with 13 hearts. Just tell me if you see any of my messengers along the road.
I see nobody on the road.
Oh, if only I had that ability to see nobody. That's only masked by my ability to see real people by that light.
Oh, I see somebody now. He's coming very slowly, and what curious attitudes he goes into. Skipping up and down and sprinkling like an eel.
Not at all. Those are Anglo-Saxon attitudes. And besides, he only does that when he's happy. And I must have 2 messages. One to come and, well, one to go.
I beg your pardon?
It is not respectful to beg.
I only meant that I didn't understand why one to come and one to go.
Don't I tell you, I must have one to fetch and carry. One to fetch and, well, one to carry. You alarm me. I feel faint. A ham sandwich. Another ham sandwich.
There's nothing but hay left now.
Hay then. There's nothing like eating hay when you're faint. State your business.
I saw nobody on the road.
Of course you saw nobody, because she saw her too, so no one can walk slower than you.
I do my best. I'm sure nobody runs faster than I do.
Not at all, or he would have been here first. But now that you got your breath, state your business in the town.
Okay, I'll whisper it to you. They're at it again!
Do you call that whispering? Do you like enemy butter? It went through my head like an earthquake. Details, quick!
You can't think how glad I am to see you again, you dear old thing. Oh, you're thinking about something, my dear, and that makes you forget to talk. I can't tell you just now what the moral of that is, but I shall remember it fit.
Perhaps it hasn't one.
Tut tut, child. Everything's got a moral, if only you can find it.
The game's going on rather better now.
'Tis so. And the moral that is, oh, 'tis love that makes the world go round.
Aren't you are finding morals and things?
I dare say you're wondering why I don't put my arm around your waist. The reason is that I'm doubtful about the temper of the flamingo. Shall I try the experiment?
You might bite.
Very true. Flamingos and mustards both bite. And the moral that is, birds of a feather flock together.
Only mustard isn't a bird.
Right as usual. What if they're what you have with many things?
It's a mineral, I think.
Of course it is. There's a large mustard mine near here. And the moral of that is, the more there is of mine, the less there is of yours.
Oh, it's a vegetable. Does it look like one? But it is.
I quite agree with you. And the moral of that is, be what you seem to be. Or, if you'd like to put it more simply, never imagine yourself not to be otherwise than what it might appear to others, that what you were or might have been was not otherwise to what it appeared to be otherwise.
I think I should understand it better if I had written it down. I don't quite follow it as you say it.
That's nothing to what I could say if I chose.
Pray, don't trouble yourself to say it any longer than that.
Oh, don't talk about trouble. I make you a present of everything I've said as yet. Thinking again,
I have a right to think.
just about as much right as pigs have to fly. And the moral, a fine day, your majesty.
Now, I give you fair warning. Either you or your head must be off, and that in less than no time. Take your choice. Let's go on with the game. Off with your head, off with his head!
How are you getting on? There's no use talking to you till your ears have come. I don't think they play it all fairly, and they quarrel so. It's very confusing with all the things alive here. You see, I should have croqueted the queen's hedgehog, only it ran away when it saw mine coming. And how do you like the queen? She's so extremely likely to win the game.
Who are you talking to?
A friend of mine, a Cheshire Cat. Allow me to introduce it.
I don't like to look at it at all. However, it may kiss my hand if it likes.
I'd rather not.
Don't be impertinent. And don't look at me like that.
A cat may look at a king. I read that in some book, but I don't remember where.
Well, wherever you've read it, I ordered for this cat to be removed. This cat must be removed.
Off with his head!
But you can't cut off a head unless there's a body to cut it off from, right?
Nonsense. Anything that has a head can be beheaded.
If something isn't done about this in less than no time, I'll have all of you executed all around.
It belongs to the Duchess. You better ask her about it.
it's a lie.
You'd better ask me. Do it if you can.
Cut it off!
It's gone.
It's gone. Cut it off! Cut them all off!
Save me. Save me.
It's cut hers off!
Save me.
Who are you?
I hardly know, sir, just at present. The queen frightened me so and had an awful fall down a tunnel or sort of well. At least, I know who I was this morning, but I think I might have changed several times since then.
What do you mean by that? Explain yourself.
I can't explain myself, sir, because I'm not myself. You see, being so many different sizes in a day is very confusing.
You. Who are you?
I think you ought to tell me who you are first.
Why? Come back.
I have something important to tell you. Keep your temper.
Is that all?
No. So you think you've changed, do you?
Yes. I'm afraid I have, sir. I don't seem to keep the same size.
What size do you want to be?
I don't know. At least, I've never been so small as a caterpillar before.
It is a very good height indeed.
I only meant that I haven't been that size before.
You'll get used to it in time.
You're right. Maybe I will. But... So?
One side will make you grow taller, the other will make you shorter.
One side of what? The other side of what?
The mushroom.
Look out now, guys. Don't go splashing paint over me like that.
I couldn't help it. Something dropped my elbow.
But always let us blame on others.
I wouldn't be talking if I were you. I heard only yesterday the queen said he deserved to be beheaded.
What for?
Business too.
It is his business, and I'll tell him he brought the cook tulip roots instead of onions.
Of the... well, all the unjust things.
Could you tell me, please, which side I ought to eat?
I don't know anything about it. You ought to have been red. We put you in by mistake. And if the queen was to find it out, we should all have our heads cut off.
What's that?
The white chess queen.
Don't answer what we're doing.
She'll tell on us.
Run out there and stop her.
Go the other way! But she's up there!
You would only meet her by walking the other way.
Oh, what nonsense!
Go the other way!
Oh! There you are. Why, just the same size I was as I saw you before.
Of course you are. And who are these? I can't tell them by their backs. Turn over. Ah, I thought so. Get up! What have you been doing here? Well, may it please your majesty, we were trying. I see. Be gone, or I'll send the horses after you and tell the queen of hearts.
Ridiculous.
Isn't this the square?
You can't be a queen, you know, till you pass the proper examination.
The sooner we begin it, the better.
Please, would you tell me?
Speak when you're spoken to.
But if everybody obeyed that rule and you only spoke when you were spoken to, you see, nobody would begin, so that...
Preposterous.
I only said if.
She said she only said if.
But she said a great deal more than that. Ah, yes, so much more than that.
So you did, you know. Always speak the truth. Think before you speak, and write it down afterwards.
Sure, I didn't mean.
That's just what I complained of. You should have meant. What do you suppose is the use of a child without any meaning? Even a child should have some meaning, and a joke's more important than a child, I hope. You couldn't deny that even if you tried with both hands.
I don't deny things with my hands.
Nobody said you did. I said you couldn't if you tried.
She's in that state of mind where she wants to deny something, but can't find anything to deny.
A nasty, vicious temper. I invite you to Alice's dinner party this afternoon.
And I invite you.
Oh, I didn't know I was to have a party at all, but if I am to have one, I think I ought to invite the guests.
Well, we gave you the opportunity of doing it, but I dare say you've not had many lessons in manners yet.
Manners are not taught in lessons. Lessons teach you to do sums and things.
Can you do addition? What's 1 and 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 1?
I don't know. I lost the count.
She can't do addition? Can you do subtraction? Take 9 from 8.
I suppose. Oh, 9 from 8. I can't, you know.
She can't do subtraction. Can you do division? Divide a loaf of bread by a knife, and what's the answer to that?
Suppose.
Bread and butter, of course. Try another subtraction sum. Pick a bone from a dog. What remains?
The bone wouldn't remain. The dog took it, and the dog wouldn't remain. because it would come to bite me, and I'm sure I shouldn't remain.
So you think nothing would remain?
I think that's the answer.
Wrong, as usual. The dog's temper would remain.
Well,
Look here. If you take the bone from the dog would lose its temper. So, if the dog went away, its temper would remain.
But
Do you have any useful questions? How is bread made?
I know that. Take flour
Where do
and...
you pick the flower? In the garden or in the hedges?
Well, it isn't picked at all, it's ground.
How many acres of ground? You mustn't leave out so many things.
Fan her head, she'll be feverish after all this thinking.
Please, please.
Okay, you're all right again now. Do you know any languages? What's the French for fiddle-dee-dee?
Fiddle-dee-dee is not English.
Whoever said it was?
Well, if you tell me what language fiddle-dee-dee is, I'll tell you French for it.
Queens never make bargains.
Wish queens never asked questions.
Don't let us quarrel. What is the cause of lightning?
Oh, the cause of the lightning is the thunder. No. The other way.
Nope, once you said a thing, that fixes it and you must take the consequences.
We had such a thunderstorm next Tuesday, you can't think.
She never could, you know.
Part of the roof came off and ever so much thunder got in. It went rolling around the room in great lumps, knocking over tables and things, till I was so frightened I couldn't remember my own name.
I never should try to remember my name in the middle of an accident. Where would be the use for it?
You must excuse her. She means well, but she can't help saying these foolish things. As a general rule, she never really was well brought up, but it's amazing how good-tempered she is. Pat her on the head and see how pleased she'll be. A little kindness and putting her hair in papers would do wonders with her.
I'm so sleepy.
She's tired, poor thing. Lend her your nightcap and sing her a soothing lullaby.
I don't have a nightcap and I don't know any soothing lullabies.
I must do it myself then. Hush-a-bye, laddie, in Alice's lap. When the feast's ready, we've time for a nap. When the feast's over, we'll go to the ball. Red Queen and White Queen and Alice and all. And now you know the words. Just sing it through to me. I'm getting sleepy too.
What am I to do? Take care of two asleep queens at once? Oh, do wake up, you heavy things! Wake up!
The trial's beginning.
What trial?
Who stole the tarts?
I ate tart.
Then you've got to be tried.
I don't want to be tried.
You've got to be tried.
I won't be tried. I won't prepare for you.
Silence in the court.
What are they doing? They can't have anything to put down on their slates before the trial's begun.
Suppose they're writing down their names for fear they should forget them by the end of the trial.
Stupid names.
Silence in the court.
Stupid.
How do you spell stupid?
Nice muddle of slates will be until the trial's over.
There's a pencil squeaking. Cut it down!
Squeaking, 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 squeaking.
Harold, read the accusation.
The Queen of Hearts, she made the tarts on a summer's day. The Knave of Hearts, he stole those tarts and took them quite away.
Consider your verdict.
Not yet, not yet. There is a great deal to come for that.
Call the first witness.
First witness.
I beg your
for bringing these in, but I hadn't quite finished my tea when I was sent for.
You ought to have finished. When did you begin?
The 14th of March, I think it was.
15, 16,
Write that down.
14. Reduce that to shillings.
Take off your hat.
It isn't mine.
Stolen!
I keep them to sell. I've none my own. I'm a hatter.
Give your evidence, and don't be nervous about it, or you'll be executed.
I'm a poor man, Your Majesty, and I hadn't but begun my tea above a week or so, and with the thinning of the bread, and the tea, and the twinkling of the tea.
The twinkling of the what?
It began with the tea.
Well, of course twinkling begins with the T. Who do you take it for, dunce? Go on.
I'm a poor man, and the March Hare said...
I didn't.
You did!
I deny it.
He denies it, leave it out.
But what did the Dormouse say? That I can't remember.
You must remember, or you'll be executed.
I'm a poor man, Your Majesty!
That's all you know. You may stand down.
I can't go any lower. I'm on the floor as it is.
Then you may sit down.
I'd rather finish my tea.
Then you may go.
And just take his head off outside.
Call the next witness.
Next witness.
Consider your verdict.
Champ, please, Your Majesty, you must cross-examine this witness first.
Well, if I must, I must. What does the cook say the tarts are made of?
Pepper.
Treacle.
Call the Dormouse. Behead the Dormouse. Turn that Dormouse out of my court. Pinch him. Suppress him. Off with his whiskers.
The Duchess.
She's gone.
Never mind. You look right there. We must cross-examine the next witness. White makes for 4 to 8. Call the next witness.
Alice! Here!
What do you know about this business?
Nothing whatever.
Well, that's very important.
Unimportant, Your Majesty means, of course.
Unimportant. That's right. Unimportant.
There's a great deal of evidence to come. Please, Your Majesty, this paper's just been picked up.
What's in it?
I haven't opened it yet, but it seems like a letter written by the prisoner to somebody.
Well, it makes sense that it's written to somebody, unless it's written to nobody, which isn't usual, you know?
Who is it directed to?
It isn't directed at anyone. It's not even a letter, just a set of verses.
Is it in the prisoner's handwriting?
No, and that's the queerest thing about it.
He must have imitated someone else's hand.
Oh, please, Your Majesty, I didn't write it, and they can't prove that I did. There's no name signed at the end.
If you didn't write it, that only makes the matters worse. An honest man would have signed it with his own hand.
That proves his guilt.
It proves nothing of the sort. Why, you don't even know what they're about.
Read them.
Where shall I begin, Your Majesty?
Begin at the beginning and go to the end, then stop.
They told me you had been to her and mentioned me to him. She gave me a good character, but said I could not swim. I gave her 1, they gave him 2, you gave us 3 or more. They all returned from him to you, they were mine before. My notion that you had been, before she had this fit. And also what that came between him, Marcel, and it. Don't let him know she liked them best, but this must ever be. A secret come from all the rest, between yourself and me.
Why, that's the most important evidence yet. So now let the jury...
If any one of them can explain it, I'll give them 6 pence. I don't believe there's an atom of meaning in it.
She doesn't believe there's an atom of meaning in it.
Oh, if there isn't any meaning in the words, that saves us a world of trouble. You shan't try and find any, unless, I don't know. It says I could not swim. You can't swim, can you?
Do I look like it?
So far we know it to be true, says the jury, that they gave her 1, they gave him 2. Well, that must be what he did with the parts, you know?
But it goes on from him to you.
Well, there's the part right there. Nothing could be clearer. Then again, before she had fits. You never had fits with me, did you?
Never.
Then the word's no fit. It's a pun. Now let the jury consider the verdict.
No. Sentence first, verdict afterwards.
Nonsense.
Hold your tongue.
I won't.
Off with her head.
Who cares for you?
Cut it off.
Nothing but a pack of cards.
Alice! Wake up. It's time for tea.
Why, it was a dream.
A dream? Tell me more about this dream.
Well, see, Uncle.